Okay. Hello everyone, welcome to Unacademy's optional YouTube channel. Now in this class we are going to discuss political ideologies. Okay, we are going to discuss political ideologies. Now let me check if this let me check if the stream is coming up in YouTube or not. After that we will start with the class. Okay, so the stream is coming up everyone. So let's start with today's class. Let's start with today's class. See here. Now in today's class we are going to discuss about political ideologies. In today's class, give me a moment here. Okay. Okay. In today's class we are going to discuss political ideologies. Now this is lesson 1. There will be 2 lessons regarding political ideologies. So today is lesson 1. So in today we will be discussing some 3 important ideologies in political science, that is liberalism, conservatism, as well as Marxism or socialism. So these are the 3 important ideologies that we will be discussing today. In tomorrow's class we will be discussing some other ideologies like feminism, okay, anarchism, all these things. Some other ideologies are also there. So we will discuss in the next class. Now before going on to the class itself, let me give you a brief introduction about myself as well as about Unacademy. See, my name is Aravind. I have completed my BE Mechanical Engineering in 2014 and I have almost 3 years of experience in teaching UPSC Civil Services, and I have also experienced all stages of UPSC Civil Services. Now my specialty subjects include polity, international relations, and then current affairs. Now if you wish to know more about the schedule of my classes, please join this Telegram group Unacademy_Aravind. Now in this Telegram group, I will regularly update the schedule of my classes, when I will be taking classes, all these things. Or if you have any doubts regarding my classes, you can ask in this Telegram group. Alright. Now what will you get by subscribing to Unacademy? See, by subscribing to Unacademy, first you will get access to daily live classes. Now in these daily live classes, you get to watch these live classes. You can rewatch these live classes, and then if you have any doubts regarding these classes, you can ask those doubts then and there itself. Alright. Now this rewatchability feature is very, very important. Because why? Because if you are attending any competitive examination, you will feel the need to rewatch your old classes. That's natural, because you will have some doubts regarding old classes, or you want to revise your old classes. With traditional institutions, you won't be able to rewatch your old classes, but with Unacademy, you will be able to rewatch your classes. And then with Unacademy, we will get access to live tests as well as quizzes almost on a daily basis. When it comes to UPSC preparation, 50% is study and 50% is practice. So practice is as important as studying itself. Okay, so this practice part from Unacademy will come via live tests and quizzes. And then with Unacademy, you will get access to structured courses. So the course will properly move from A to B to C, okay, so that the lesson course will be much more in tune towards examination syllabus, and the students will also feel much easier to learn from Unacademy because of this structured course nature. And then with Unacademy, you will get unlimited access to videos concerned with the examination that you are subscribing for. For instance, if you are subscribed for UPSC examination, you will get unlimited access to videos concerned with UPSC examination. Okay. Now I suggest you download Unacademy learning app if you are planning to learn for any competitive examination via Unacademy. Because with Unacademy learning app, you can keep track of your learning goals, how much time you are spending with Unacademy, all these things, you can keep a better track of that. Okay. Not only that, if your favorite teacher is supposed to take class via Unacademy, you will get immediate notifications via Unacademy learning app. Okay. Now with Unacademy, you will get access to 100+ top educators. Okay, so the educators like Mulit Gupta, Aman Sharma, Ashish Malik, all these are some of the most experienced faculty in UPSC platform for the past few years. Now with Unacademy, you get access to all these top educators, and top educators will also use Unacademy as a platform to share their knowledge with students who hail from all over India. Okay, not only that, since Unacademy boasts a number of top educators in various fields. For example, if you are learning polity from educator A and you are not satisfied with this educator, you can immediately switch over to educator B, who is also teaching politics. And all these top educators are some of the most some of the best faculties you can find in UPSC platform. So Unacademy in a way it is trying to democratize the entire learning process itself by giving you the choice of from whom you want to learn from where you want to learn from, and also at what time you want to learn from. So by giving you the choice of all these three things, Unacademy is certainly trying to democratize the entire learning process itself. Alright. Now these are the amounts charged by Unacademy for plus subscription. Now this is the amount charged by Unacademy is very less compared to any other offline institutions where you will be spending upwards of 4 to 5 lakh rupees on things like fees, food, rent. But with Unacademy, you won't be spending a dime on either food or rent. Even fees itself is very less with Unacademy compared to any other institutions. On top of that, if you are using my code Aravind V, you will get 10% as offer. Okay, so instead of paying 49,500 rupees, you will be paying only 44,550 rupees. Alright. Now, even with the iconic platform where you will get access to your personal coach. Now, this personal coach is some of the most experienced faculty in UPSC field, and some have even cleared UPSC itself. So they know all about how to clear UPSC, all these things. So based on their experience as well as knowledge on what kind of struggles students will face, if you have any problems or if you are facing any hurdles, they will try to solve your problems and they will make your path to clear UPSC very easy. And then you will get access to daily means question and answer practice via Unacademy, and then you will also get a study planner prepared by Unacademy based on your preferences, and then also you will get personalized feedback based on your performances in Unacademy tests. Tushar, good evening Tushar. Now even with the iconic platform, if you are using my code Aravind V, you will get 10% as offer. Okay, so guys, please don't forget to use my code Aravind V in case you are planning to subscribe for Unacademy. See, Unacademy has recently introduced optional courses for the first time. Now the deal here is that if you are subscribing to GS course before October 31st, you will automatically get subscribed to optional courses as well. So there is no need for you to pay extra for optional courses. Okay, so please do subscribe to Unacademy before 31st October so that you can avail this offer. Now on top of that, if you are using my code Aravind V, you will get 10% as offer. So instead of paying 49,500 rupees, you will be paying only 44,550 rupees. So guys, I don't think you can get a better deal than this anywhere else in India. So please do consider subscribing for Unacademy before October 31st. Now Unacademy has recently introduced number of optional subjects on various subjects. Almost 18 plus subjects are covered via Unacademy optional course. Okay, so please do subscribe to optional course also if you are planning to study for optional via Unacademy. Now even for optional courses, if you are using my code Aravind V, you will get 10% as offer. But if you are subscribing for optional courses, if you are subscribing for GS course before October 31st, you will get this optional course for free of cost. Okay, so guys, please do consider subscribing for Unacademy before October 31st. Okay, now please do subscribe to this YouTube channel and please hit the notification bell icon as well so that you can get immediate notifications whenever a class is about to start. Okay, so that's it everyone. So that's it with regards to introduction and promotion. So let's move on to today's class. See here now the class that we are going to look today is political ideologies, first part. Okay, so in political ideology, I will be taking two classes. Today's class is the first class. Tomorrow I will be taking second class. Now this class will be based upon the chapter 3 in Andrew Haywood book called as Politics. Okay, this class will be based upon Andrew Haywood book chapter 3 called as Politics. Now most of the topics that I will be teaching today will be based upon this book because I feel that this book is much more intuitive compared to O.P. Gauba's book. Okay, many people they will recommend you to read O.P. Gauba, but I feel that Politics by Andrew Haywood is much more useful for students compared to O.P. Gauba's book. Okay, so most of the topics that I will be teaching will be taken from this book. Okay, and I will be referring other book also. For example, Oxford's Theory on Political Science also I will be referring. Okay, so but most of the stuff will be from Andrew Haywood's book. Okay, Now, in this class, there are some of the key issues that we will be discussing. Okay, in this topic, there are some key issues that we will be discussing. The first key issue that we will be discussing is what is the concept of political ideology. First, we have to discuss what is ideology first, then only you can understand what are the different types of ideologies, right? Then we will discuss what are the characteristic themes, theories, and principles of each of major ideologies. So, the major ideologies like liberalism, socialism, Marxism. So, in this class, we will discuss what are the themes, what are the general themes, what are the various theories promoted in favor of liberalism, and what are the principles and core tenets of each ideology. So, all these things we will discuss in this class, and we will also discuss what are the rival traditions or internal tensions each ideology encompass. So between various ideology itself, there are different types of ideology, and there will be a sort of tension between different forms of ideology itself. So that also we will discuss. Now we will also discuss how major ideologies changed over time. Okay, see, ideology is it's an idea. Okay, idea changes over a period of time. It is not a static concept. Ideology is not a static concept. It will change over different periods of time. So we will also look at how various ideologies have evolved over a period of time. Now, at the end, we will discuss how can the rise and fall of ideologies be explained. Okay. Now, has ideology come to an end? Could ideology come to an end? So, this is a very important mains question. The last two topics are an important mains question. Okay. In mains and all, they have asked this exact same question. So, in the next class, okay, in first class we will discuss only major ideologies, but in the next class we will certainly discuss the rise and fall of ideologies as well as how ideologies come to an end and could ideology come to an end. So, all these issues we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Now, give me a moment here before going on to the first topic. Give me a moment here. I will drink some water. See, first you have to answer this question of what is political ideology. What is political ideology? So, define what is political ideology. First, you have to define what is ideology. What is ideology? What exactly is ideology? So, whenever you are attempting to define ideology, see, the definition of ideology must be very neutral. Okay, the definition that you are giving to ideology should be very neutral. What is the meaning? Why it should be neutral? Because the definition of ideology should reject the notion that ideologies are good or bad. It should not say whether ideology is good or bad or true or false. It should remain neutral. Okay. It should also not mention whether it is ideology is liberating or oppressive. The ideology, if the definition of ideology should be very neutral in character, it should not lead the reader in any positive or negative preconception. Okay. So accordingly, the modern social scientific definition of ideology will be, see, the modern social scientific medium of the term sees ideology as an action oriented belief system, an interrelated set of ideas that in some ways guide or inspires political action. Alright, so what does it say? What ideology is an action oriented belief system. So a group of people. Now take for example a group of people. Now there is a group of people. This is a homogeneous group of people. Now this homogeneous group of people, they will have a certain core sets of beliefs. Okay. Now this belief is making them to act in a certain political manner. Now that belief will be termed as political ideology. All right. So I'll give you an example. Okay. For example, now take the case of civil rights movement. Take the case of civil rights movement which happened in 1960s America. Which happened in 1960s America. So here now this is if you look at civil rights movement, it is a group of black people as well as some some progressive left-wing intellectuals who came together to fight for the rights of black individuals. Okay, so their ideology can be termed as what? Their ideology can be termed as liberal ideology which promotes for equality. Okay, so they came together and they had a core set of values. Now, based on that ideology, they fought against the government to gain conceptions from the government. So that is what is ideology. Okay, this is a set of beliefs, uh, beliefs within a certain group of individuals which will make them to act in a certain way or inspire some political action. Okay, that is called as ideology. Now, in other words, from a social scientific viewpoint, an ideology is more or less a coherent set of ideas that provides a basis for organized political action, whether it is intended to preserve, modify, or overthrow the existing system of power relationships. Now, what is the meaning of preserve, modify, or overthrow the existing system of power relationship? Now, I'll give you an example. Now, take the recent case of Black Lives Matter movements. Take the recent case of Black Lives Matters movement. Now, Black Lives Matters movement, it was in response to killing of black individuals in many areas such as George Floyd, in Kenosha, because of racial actions done by police officials. Black Lives Movement riots happened, protests happened all over America. Now, if you look at Black Lives Movement protests all over America, what was their aim? Their aim was to modify. Their aim was to modify or to overthrow the existing political system of police structure as well as the racial injustice which is ingrained inside the political atmosphere. So their aim was that to modify or to overthrow the existing political establishment. But if you look at some counter counter movement which happened in response to Black Lives movements. There was a movement called as All Lives Matter movement. Okay. Now this All Lives Matters movement, even though the name it sounds very progressive, but in theory it tries to preserve the existing social structure as well as political structure. This All Lives Matter movement, it tried to preserve the existing social structure as well as political structure. Okay, so these two can be said that Black Lives Movement also had a set of ideology. Now this ideology motivated to them to either modify or to overthrow the existing structures. Now, in the case of ALM, All Lives Matter movement, this movement was motivated to preserve the existing structure. So both these movements, their ideology motivated to them to take a certain political action to preserve or to alter the existing power relationship. Alright, did you understand anyone? Did you understand this part? Did you understand this part? That is called as ideology. Did you understand anyone? Did you understand anyone? Only if you have understood this, I can move on to the next part. Only if you have understood this, I can move on to the next part. Okay, did you understand this? Everyone? Did you understand this, everyone? Okay. So let's move on to the next part. See here, based on the existing definition, based on the previous definitions, we can conclude that based on the previous definitions that I have given here, we can conclude that all ideologies will offer an account of existing order, usually in the form of a worldview. Okay, all ideologies, they will offer some sort of view on the existing order. For example, take the case of Marxism. Take the case of Marxism. Marxism defines worldview as a world of having two sets of individuals called as haves as well as have-nots. Okay, so Marxist ideology is having these two sets of individuals and trying to establish a egalitarian society. So that is Marxist point of worldview. So every ideology, they will offer a certain worldview. Now take the case of feminism. Feminism, what will they say? Feminism, they will say that the existing political structures as well as social structure is very patriarchal, and they serve the male-dominated interest of political as well as social sphere. That is the existing view of feminism. Okay, so all ideologies, they will try to offer an account of existing order, usually in the form of worldview. Also, all ideologies, they will provide a model of desired future or a vision of good society. Okay, so all ideologies, they will try to provide a model for the future. For example, in case of Marxism, what is the future? To establish an egalitarian society. Now, what is the future of feminism? What is the goal as well as future of feminism? to establish a gender neutral society. Okay, even though this is not exactly true for all sects of feminism. There are different sects of feminism like third wave feminism, term feminism. There are different types of feminism which disagree on the term gender neutral. Okay, but in general feminism, they are in favor of gender neutrality of all existing social as well as political structures. Now, also all ideologies they will outline how a political change can or should be brought about. Okay, all our political ideologies. Okay, to bring about this future, something has to change, right? Something has to change, right? So that change, okay, these ideologies will attempt to give a pathway towards that change to achieve the desired future. Now, this change can vary differently within the same ideology itself. For example, within socialism itself, there are different types of socialism tries to establish an egalitarian society. Now, within socialism itself, there are different sub brands of socialism which will try to achieve this egalitarian society by different methods. All right. Within socialism itself, there are different types of different brands of socialism which will try to achieve this egalitarian society in a different manner. Okay, did you understand, everyone? Did you understand? Did you understand? And also keep this in mind: ideologies are not a sealed systems of thought; rather, they are fluid sets of ideas that overlap with one another at a number of points. Okay, it is not a set. It is not a what to say. It is not a very confined concept. Okay, conservatism. It is confined within this sphere. Socialism is confined with this sphere. Democratic politics is confined with this sphere. Ideologies can overlap with each other. Okay, this concept called as democratic socialism, where the concept of democracy as well as democracy such as liberalism and socialism will come together, called as democratic socialism. Okay, there is a concept called as anarcho-syndicalism, where anarchism and communism they will come together and form a separate ideology called as anarcho-syndicalism. Now, political scientists such as Noam Chomsky and all, they are in favor of establishing anarcho-syndicalism. All right. So ideologies they are not a set defined. They are not single systems of thought. Rather, they are fluid. They will overlap with one another, and they will also change over a period of time. Okay, they will also change over a period of time. Give me a moment here. I don't know what happened here. Okay, it is here, but why is it not coming in the? Okay, so it is not coming in the slide. I don't know why. See here, a political spectrum can be broadly divided into left-leaning spectrum and right-leaning spectrum. Okay, political spectrum can be broadly divided into left-leaning spectrum and right-leaning spectrum. Okay. Now, within this spectrum, we will have different ideologies. If you look at left means left, the left political spectrum, left end of political spectrum, they will advocate for massive radical political change. They will advocate for massive change. But in the case of right, they will try to preserve the existing social order, and it is in favor of inequality. Right is in favor of inequality. Left it is in favor of equality, but it also represents the maximum amount of change in the current political spectrum. Okay, so if these are the spectrum wherein which different ideologies fall into. So anarchism it represents the true extent of left political spectrum, followed by Marxism, followed by democratic socialism, followed by social democracy or third way, followed by conservatism, followed by neoliberalism, and followed by fascism. All right. So this is how our political spectrum goes. Anarchism represents the extreme end of left political spectrum, followed by democratic socialism, followed by social democracy or third way, followed by conservatism. So this social democracy or third way or conservatism, right now they represent the center. They represent the center of political spectrum. So whenever we talk about a political party being center, they follow center politics. They either follow social democracy or third way or conservatism. Okay, now right-wing political party are represented by means of neoliberalism as well as fascism. Okay. Okay, everyone, did you understand? Now there are also other varieties of political spectrum which doesn't fall in either of these political spectrum, which is radical political theory, feminism, reformist, environmentalism, anti-globalism, populism, theocracy. All these things are very what to say, they are very confined. They are not broad political ideologies. They are very confined towards achieving a specific goal. So that's why they don't fall into any of the broad political spectrum. Can you understand? Can you understand? Feminism, it only aims to achieve what to say equality in gender politics. Okay, it doesn't go beyond that. It doesn't go beyond gender politics. So that's why it is very focused. Environmentalism is very focused towards in clean environment. Anti-globalism is focused towards opposing globalization. So these are very focused movements. So that's why they don't fall into the bracket of any broad political spectrum. Okay. Did you understand everyone? Did you understand this part? Did you understand everyone? If you understood, can I move on to the next part? I'll give you 1 minute to ask your doubts, or else I'm moving on to the next part. I will give you 1 minute to 2 minutes to ask your doubts. After that, I'm moving on to the next part. I'm going to discuss the first important ideology for today, that is liberalism. Everyone, if you have any doubts, please ask your doubts, or else I'm moving on to the next part. Okay, or else I'm moving on to the next part. Okay. So the first major ideology that we are going to discuss today is liberalism. Okay, the first major ideology that we are going to discuss today is liberalism. See, the liberalism was a product of the breakdown of feudalism and the growth in its place of a market or a capitalistic society. So during 1600s in France as well as UK, the dominant ideology which was followed during this time was feudalism. The dominant ideology was feudalism. Now, what is feudalism? There will be a existing social hierarchy where kings were at the top, below that nobles, below that kings, so below that knights will be there, below that serfdom will be there. Serfdom or common people will be there. So there will be a form of social hierarchy. This is called as feudalism. Now, the feudalism got broken down. The existing structure of feudalism got broken down, especially with the emergence of industrial revolution. Because of industrial revolution, there a new set of people called as merchants emerged, and now these merchants, they amassed vast amount of wealth. Okay, so they became very powerful, and they were much more in favor of breaking down this feudal structure because they were at the bottom. Even though they have a lot of money, they had a lot of money. They were at the bottom, so they wanted to break down this existing feudal structure. Okay, so in favor of feudal structure, they advocated for establishing a government which is in favor of market or capitalistic society. Now, in this market or capitalistic society, everyone will be given individual freedom. Everyone will be given sort of individual freedom, and state will have limited rights. Why? Because then only merchants will have unlimited power to carry out their trade, right? Okay, so that's what the concept of liberalism emerged. Okay, liberalism emerged when during the breakdown of feudalism apart. Okay, when feudalism got broke down, liberalism had tried to establish market or capitalistic society which favored mercantile population. See, now early liberalism, which was established during 1800s, reflected the aspirations of the rising industrial middle class, and liberalism and capitalism has been closely linked ever since. Okay. Now, if you look at the core tenets of liberalism, especially early liberalism, it attacked absolutism or feudal privilege. It attacked absolutism or feudal privilege. What is absolutism? For example, if there is a king, absolutism means king can only come from one family. For example, take the case of UK. In case of UK, king or queen can come from only one family. Even in France, that's the case. Okay. Or take the case of even feudal lords also. Feudal lords they can come only from one family. Okay. So there is no social mobility in case of feudal society. There is no social mobility. What is the meaning of social mobility? A common people can become feudal warlord, and this feudal warlord can become king. So there is no in feudalism there is no social mobility. So because of that, mercantile population they advocated for abolition of feudalism. Instead of feudalism, we advocated for a constitutional and later a form of representative government. Okay, so in favor of feudalism, they advocated for constitutional as well as representative government. So this became the centerpiece of classical or 19th century liberalism. Okay, so at the establishment of constitutional government or representative form of government was called as liberalism during 19th century. All right. Now, if you look at liberalism itself, there are two broad tenets of liberalism. One is classical liberalism, another one is modern liberalism. Now, classical liberalism was followed during 1900s. Now, if you look at modern liberalism, it was followed during the present era, 21st century. Okay. So, these are two broad tenets of liberalism. So, in this class, we will try to discuss these both tenets of liberalism. Now, there are certain elements that are core to liberalism. So, there are certain elements which are core to liberalism itself. So, we will discuss what are the core tenets of liberalism first. Now, the first core tenet of liberalism is individualism. Now, individualism is a core principle of liberal ideology. It respects a belief in supreme in the importance of the individual as opposed to any social group or collective body. Okay. So, according to liberalism, individual is the most important unit in a political structure. So, individual is the most important unit in a political spectrum compared to any other group or government. So, what is the purpose of government? The purpose of government is to protect this individual of his rights. Now, the liberal goal is therefore to construct a society within which individual can follow the good as defined to the best of their abilities. Okay. So this is the first core tenet of liberalism. Okay, individualism. Now the next core tenet of liberalism is freedom. The concept of freedom. Now individual freedom or liberty is a core principle of liberal ideology. It is given priority over equality. So liberty is see here. Liberty is given priority over what is happening here. See, when it comes to liberalism, one of the core tenets of freedom is liberty and as well as equality. Now, if you compare liberty as well as equality itself, within liberalism, liberty will be given priority over equality or justice or authority. So, liberty will be given priority over equality or justice or authority. So this arises naturally from a belief in individual and the desire to ensure that each person is able to act as he or she chooses fit. Nevertheless, liberals also advocate for freedom under law as they recognize that one's personal liberty may be a threat to liberty of others. So as long as a person's liberty is not threatening the liberty of other persons, an individual can enjoy utmost liberty within his own sphere. Okay, so that is one quotient of liberalism. The next, the another quotient of liberalism is reason. Liberals believe that the world has a rational structure, and this can be uncovered through exercise of human reason as well as critical inquiry. This inclines them to place their faith in the ability of individuals to make wise judgments on their own behalf, being in most cases the best judge of their own interests. So the core tenets of liberalism is belief in the system of reason. Okay, belief in the system of reason. I don't know what happened today. The writing is very slow. I don't know what happened to my laptop today. Sorry for that. So now, in the liberalism believes that individuals are rational being. Individuals are rational being, and giving power to individual is rather good. So they believe that this reason will enable individuals to perform critical thinking and to improve human existence itself. Okay, and they believe the liberalism believes that human beings are capable of taking wise decisions on their own behalf, and they generally believe that if government is allowed to take decisions on behalf of individuals, it is rather oppressive or it is not good for the collective will of society itself. So they place utmost importance to individuals. In liberalism, utmost importance is placed towards individuals. Now, another element of liberalism is equality. Now, according to liberalism, individuals are born equal, at least in terms of moral worth. This is reflected in the liberal commitment to equal rights as well as entitlements, notably in the form of liberal equality. This equality before law and political equality, such as one person, one vote is equals to one value. Okay. Now there are certain elements of liberalism and equality itself. See, however, as individuals do not have the same level of talents or willingness to work, liberals do not endorse social equality. Because see, for example, take the case of person A and person B. Okay. Now liberals believe, even though they believe in a form of social equality, they believe that some individuals they have higher talent compared to other individuals, and some individuals they are willing to work more compared to other individuals. Okay, so even though they advocate for equality when it comes to social equality as well as political equality, they do not subscribe to the principle of social equality. What is the principle of social equality? What is the principle of social equality? Everyone should have equal status socially. That is the principle of social equality. And so liberalism does not endorse social equality because they believe that certain individuals have more innate tendency towards higher talent as well as their willingness to work. Rather, they favor inequality of opportunity. That is, level playing field that gives all individuals an equal chance to realize their unequal potential. Okay, so there is a difference between equal opportunity and equality of opportunity. Equal opportunity or not talk, and equality of opportunity. Equality of opportunity. There is these two are two different concepts. Now, in case of equal opportunity, what happens is that, for example, in America, take America, assume that 50% of the people are composed of white people and 50% is composed of black people. So, if an organization is hiring individuals, what will happen in equal opportunity is that exactly half the numbers will be hired from white population and exactly half the numbers will be hired from black population. It is called as equal opportunity. They don't consider for that. They don't consider the talent as such things. They will give this exact. They will give exact opportunity to as per their population. Now, if you look at equality of opportunity, what happens is that instead of giving reservation something like that, they will empower individuals by giving them education, by giving social security. So by enabling them to study well compared to other individuals, they will provide every opportunity for an individual to achieve success rather than giving reservation. Okay, this is called as equality of opportunity. Now liberalism equality will subscribe to the concept of equality of opportunity, not to the equal opportunity principle. Okay. Now the next one is next element of liberalism is the principle of toleration. Now, liberals, they believe that toleration is both a guarantee of individual liberty as well as a means of social enrichment. They believe that pluralism is in the form of moral, cultural, as well as political diversity is very healthy. Now, pluralism also, according to liberalism, it promotes a debate as well as intellectual progress by ensuring that all beliefs are tested in a free market of ideas. Okay, so they believe that, for example, if there is a society, in that particular society, every walk of individual must be there. For example, in a society, if we have Marxists, we have fascists, all these, if all these ideologies exist in the same society, because of this toleration, all these different ideologies, they will debate with each other. So whoever is having the most rational or sensible ideas, they will come out on top. Okay, so liberalism, they certainly believe in the free market of ideas, where ideas, they will clash with each other in form of debates as well as discussions, and based on sensibilities as well as rationality, each one will come out on top. Now, the next element of liberalism is consent. The authority and social relationships should always be based upon consent or a willing agreement. Okay, so if we are establishing a social agreement, or if we are establishing a political arrangement, everything should be based on a consensual basis. According to liberalism, everything should be based on a consensual basis. For example, if we want to engage in sexual activities with your opposite sex, it should be based on your consent. It should be based on consent of other gender. So that is also another core tenet of liberalism. Any activity that you are doing should be based upon the consent of other people. Okay, all existing social relationships should be based upon consensual relationship. So governments, whenever they are ruling over people, should be based on the consent of the government. So if governed, they should give the consent to the government. Based on that, only government will have the power. Based on that, only government will have the power to rule over the masses. Now, this is a doctrine that encourages liberals to favor representation as well as democratic principles. In this sense, authority arises from below, and it is always grounded in legitimacy. Okay. Now, the next element of liberalism is constitutionalism. Although liberals see government as a vital guarantee of order as well as stability in society, they are also constantly aware of the danger that government may become a tyranny against an individual. They therefore believe in a form of limited government. Okay, so constitutional liberalism, they believe in a form of limited government. So, for example, if government is there, government will have three bodies. Okay, executive, legislative, as well as judicial body. And if there is no other even though this government is a representative body, meaning people have chosen this political body, if there is no authority which limits the power of this government, they can still become tyrannical, right? Even though people have elected them, they can still become tyrannical, right? So liberalism believes that there should be a document called as constitution. This document should limit the power of government. Okay, so this is called as limited government, or the doctrine of constitutionalism. Okay. Now, there are some elements to constitutionalism. Now, this goal can be obtained through fragmentation of government power by creation of checks and balances. So, constitution, it will create three separate bodies of executive, legislature, as well as judiciary. Okay, it will divide up three organs of government into three separate bodies. Okay, take the case of USA. USA is a perfect example of constitutional government, where executive is given with the office of president, legislature is given with the office of Congress, not office, the institution of Congress, and judiciary is given with Supreme Court. So these are three separate bodies, and these three separate bodies, they will have checks and balances amongst their various institutions of government. And through this establishment of written constitution embodying a bill of rights that defines the relationship between state as well as individual. Now, constitution not only restricts the power of these individual bodies, constitution, by including a concept called as bill of rights or fundamental rights, this fundamental rights also limits the power of each individual body. Okay, these individual bodies, they cannot take away this bill of rights which has been guaranteed to citizens of that particular country. Okay, so constitution, okay, it limits the power of government. Okay, this is also one core tenet of liberalism. Okay. So that's it everyone for today's class. Today's class we have worked at that. Next class we will discuss what are the different types of liberalism and Marxism, so on and so forth. Okay, so if you have any doubts so far, please ask your doubts everyone. If you have any doubts so far, please ask your doubts everyone, or else I'm going to end this class. If you have any doubts so far, please ask your doubts everyone, or else I'm going to end this class. Even if you have any doubts, please ask your doubts, or else I'm going to end this class. Okay. Okay, everyone, I'll give you ample amount of time to ask the doubts. Since no one is asking those doubts, I'm going to end this class. Okay. So goodbye, everyone. Have a wonderful day. See you tomorrow at the exact same time, 8:30. There I will take all the concepts of ideologies. Okay, all individual ideologies I will discuss. So goodbye, everyone.